Lesson 34. Talking about past activities. Basic patterns. It kind of reminds me of that trip we took with Mom and Dad to Canada. I don't remember how cold it was, though. Where exactly did we go in Canada? How could I possibly forget? I didn't run out of money. I used to like surfing. I once had a fever for almost a week. I broke my leg skiing 5 years ago. This reminds me of my trip to France. I've only been on an airplane once. I used to live in Mexico. I got in a car accident last year. My dog saved my life one time. I spent 3 years in the Army. I loved to go fishing with my dad. I once went skydiving with my friends. Dialogue 1. It's really cold out today.
I know. It kind of reminds me of that trip we took with Mom and Dad to Canada.
You mean the one we took when we were very young?
Yes. Yes, you may have been too young to remember.
No, I remember the trip. I don't remember how cold it was, though.
That's because Mom had you wrapped up very warm. It was cold, though.
I guess so. I wonder why she didn't keep you as warm. Maybe she didn't love you as much.
You're not funny. Anyway, I wanted to play in the snow.
We don't have much snow here in Florida.
That's why a day so unusually cold like this reminds me of that trip.
Where exactly did we go in Canada?
We went to Toronto and Newfoundland. We stayed in a cabin out there.
That's right. I remember the cabin.
It was very nice. Maybe I should take my family on a vacation like that.
Your kids might enjoy it.
Yes, they would. They haven't seen snow yet.
Let me know what you plan to do.
I will. I certainly will.
Dialogue 2.
That was a good basketball game today.
Yeah, it was. I actually felt young again.
It was probably one of my best games since high school.
Yeah, it seemed like everything just worked right today.
Do you remember that game we played against Lincoln High School?
Do you mean the one in our senior year? How could I possibly forget? That was our best game ever.
I wish I was that good now at basketball.
Me too, but I guess that's a part of getting older.
What's a part of getting older?
Accepting that you're not young anymore.
Maybe so. But that game we played today for our company made me feel young enough.
You're right. Remember what we used to do after a game back then?
Yes, I do. We'd steal beers from your dad's refrigerator and drink them.
Well, we're too old to steal. Let's go get some beers, though.
Good idea. You lead the way.
Dialogue 3. Do you want to go to the beach with me next weekend?
Sure. Are you driving?
Is that a problem? I'm a good driver.
I hope you're better than you were in college.
What are you talking about? College was 10 years ago.
You don't remember when you borrowed your dad's car on Christmas?
That's right. I almost forgot. I drove it into a mailbox.
I don't know how you forgot. Your dad was so upset.
I know. That was the last time I ever drove his car.
Remember, he thought you had been drinking?
Yes. He couldn't believe that I was sober and driving that bad.
Why did you hit that mailbox anyway?
I just wasn't paying attention. I'd only been driving for a few months.
I hope you're a better driver now if you're driving to the beach.
Of course I'm better now. After that accident, I had to get better.
Okay, I trust you to drive next weekend.
Good, but I didn't say that I wanted to drive.
Don't look at me. You're the good driver now, remember?
Dialogue 4.
This is a pretty nice restaurant you've found.
I know. It's one of the best Italian restaurants in the city.
That reminds me of this kid I knew in elementary school.
How? I have to hear this story.
There was one kid who could eat spaghetti noodles through his nose.
That's disgusting. How did he do that?
I guess it's easy. He'd just inhale a long noodle through his nose and then down into his throat.
That's really disgusting. I'm surprised he didn't get sick.
Sometimes he did have trouble with that trick.
What happened?
He'd sneeze and the noodle would fly back onto the plate.
That story almost ruined my dinner. Why did you tell me that?
You asked me to tell you.
Remind me next time not to ask to hear one of your stories before I eat.
Okay, that's fair. Anyway, let's eat. I'm starving.
I am too, although I'm not as hungry as I was a few seconds earlier.
By the way, that kid was myself.
I should have known. You're very talented. Just don't do that at dinner tonight.
I promise not to.
Dialogue 5. Hey, we need to take another trip like we did in college.
Which one? The trip to Europe?
Yes, of course. That was a good time.
That's not practical. We have families and jobs now. We can't just go away whenever we want.
Maybe not, but it's still fun to think about. Remember when you had to sell some of your clothes in Germany because you ran out of money?
I didn't run out of money. My wallet was stolen.
That's right, on the bus in Berlin.
Yes, and then later I found that extra money in the bottom of my suitcase.
It was nice of your father to pack that in there for you.
I think it was just his way of showing how much smarter he is than me.
He's probably right.
Yes, he probably is right.
Anyway, maybe we could plan a trip to Europe again. Take the wives and kids with us.
Do you really think so? It would be a lot of work.
Yes, but it would be worth it. I guess you'd have to stay away from the girls this time, though.
Yes, I definitely would. I'll talk to my wife about a trip and see what she thinks.
I'll do the same. This could be a lot of fun. Substitution drills. 1. It's really cold out today. It's quite cold out today. It's very cold out today. It's so cold out today. 2. That's because Mom had you wrapped up very warm. That's because Mom had you bundled up very warm. That's because Mom had you dressed very warm. That's because Mom had you clothed very warm. 3. That's why a day so unusually cold like this reminds me of that trip. That's why a day so abnormally cold like this reminds me of that trip. That's why a day so unusually cold like this reminds me of that trip. That's why a day so extremely cold like this reminds me of that trip. That's why a day so unseasonably cold like this one reminds me of that trip. 4. I actually felt young again. I actually felt like my old self. I actually felt like a kid. I actually felt youthful. 5. Me too, but I guess that's a part of getting older. Me too, but I guess that's an aspect of getting older. Me too, but I guess that's what comes with getting older. Me too, but I guess that's essential to getting older. 6. We'd steal beers from your dad's refrigerator and drink them. We'd take beers from your dad's refrigerator and drink them. We'd grab beers from your dad's refrigerator and drink them. We'd get beers from your dad's refrigerator and drink them. 7. What are you talking about? What are you saying? What are you referring to? What are you mentioning? 8. You don't remember when you borrowed your dad's car on Christmas? You don't remember when you had your dad's car on Christmas? You don't remember when you drove your dad's car on Christmas? You don't remember when you wrecked your dad's car on Christmas? 9. Your dad was so upset. Your dad was so angry. Your dad was so mad. Your dad was so annoyed. 10. he couldn't believe that I was sober and driving that bad. He couldn't believe that I was in my right mind and driving that bad. He couldn't believe that I was clear-headed and driving that bad. He couldn't believe that I was not drunk and driving that bad. 11. That's disgusting. That's revolting. That's gross. That's nasty. 12. He'd just inhale a long noodle through his nose and then down into his throat. He'd just breathe in a long noodle through his nose and then down into his throat. He'd just suck a long noodle through his nose and then down into his throat. He'd just snort a long noodle through his nose and then down into his throat. 13. You're very talented. You're very skilled. You're very gifted. You're very blessed. 14. It was nice of your father to pack that in there for you. It was nice of your father to stick that in there for you. It was nice of your father to stuff that in there for you. It was nice of your father to put that in there for you. 15. I'll talk to my wife about a trip and see what she thinks. I'll talk to my wife about a trip and ask what she thinks. I'll talk to my wife about a trip and find what she thinks. I'll talk to my wife about a trip and find out what she thinks. I'll talk to my wife about a trip and hear what she thinks. Monologue. It's quite common for many American students to take a trip to Europe in college. Normally, this is done near the end of or right after college. It is seen sometimes as an event to celebrate the end of college and the beginning of true adult life. Especially in the summer, backpack-wearing students are a common sight in Europe. They usually ride the trains and stay in hostels. Hostels are cheap places to stay in which a large number of people live in one room. Some more adventurous types go to other places. Europe is popular because the culture is similar in some ways to America, and many Europeans speak English. However, some students go to much more exotic places. Wherever they go, most realize that they may not have another chance like this again. In the future, the responsibilities of being an adult make it more difficult to just go wherever you want.